Hello and welcome to Agile TD Mondays. Today, Fiona Charles and Abby Bangser talk about Speak Easy and how you can get started to speak at conferences. But first, let me recommend to check out the Agile Testing Days homepage and to book your ticket for this awesome conference. Go to agiletestingdays.com to find out more. And now to you, Fiona.
Thank you, Sabine. Hi, my name's Fiona Charles. I'm an independent testing consultant and I speak at international conferences, host workshops, and so on. But today I'm really here to talk about Speak Easy. Speak Easy is a volunteer organization which was co-founded by Marie Sherrod and me in late 2014. Marie and I were sitting around at a speaker's dinner at a big international testing conference. And we looked around us and we said, where are the women? We didn't see a lot of women. So we thought we'd like to do something about that. And we co-founded Speak Easy. The purpose of Speak Easy is therefore largely to help increase gender diversity on platforms at tech conferences and specifically testing conferences, but also to help new speakers find their voice and to help them get started. And we don't limit that to women, although we do very much encourage young women to join us or new speaker women to join us. So I'm here today with Abby Bangser, who has been one of our Speak Easy stars. Abby has done all three roles in Speak Easy, and we're going to talk today about those roles. The first one is as an aspiring speaker, and then secondly, as a mentor, and thirdly, as a volunteer for us. And we're going to talk to you at the end about some of the volunteer opportunities we have with Speak Easy. But first of all, I'm going to ask Abby about her experiences. And tell me, Abby, about what it was like for you as a new speaker signing up with Speak Easy.
Yeah, thanks, Fiona. That was very kind words. So I actually didn't realize when you had started Speak Easy. I think I was one of the very early people to be supported then. And so thank you again. I honestly have a bit of a tendency to kind of jump in without thinking too hard about stuff. And I had been getting some really good opportunities speaking locally around Chicago and within my company, and had been encouraged to look at a conference to speak out elsewhere. And that felt a little too much for me at the time. And when I saw on the conference website that they were supported through Speak Easy and were fans of new speakers, that was really what got me interested and on track here. So I signed up and unfortunately did not get accepted to that first conference, but was suggested by my mentor to apply to a different conference. And that was my first speaking opportunity at Agile 2015. So that was a great opportunity.
So what was it like for you we matched you up with a mentor who was an experienced speaker. Can you talk a little bit about that experience of being mentored?
Yeah, it was a very interesting opportunity because I got a little bit of details about a couple different people and got to share what I was interested in talking about and in learning about. So I had confidence around being able to present at that time because I'd had a little bit of experience there, but really was unsure about the proposal process, about how to shape a talk, how to pick a topic and those kinds of things. And I also knew that I was really interested in, at the time, kind of test teams and how testers interact with the larger Agile teams. And so when given different options, there were some people that were very, very technical and maybe around performance testing and things like that weren't my area, and other people who focused on presenting, but I knew I was looking for more of that proposal and shaping. And so I was able to link up with Kristen Wiedemann, and she was a fantastic support, and we even connected at a conference soon after, and that gave me introductions to people that really has shaped my experiences around the conferences the last couple of years. So
okay, that's very cool. And you kind of went on from there. Now you have spoken now at this point at several conferences, and now you're a Speak Easy mentor.
I am, yes. It was by request to jump in and see if I could help. We're always looking for more people to support, and I do try and live by the idea that even if you only know a little bit, you can help people who aren't there yet either. So as a mentor, I've worked with about 4 people now, and have actually been at one of my mentees' first talks in Australia. So that was fantastic to be able to work with someone as they're preparing their talk and be able to be in the audience, giving them confidence and smiles, because that's what I had, and it really is an extra bonus. So
yeah, I've had the opportunity to be present when a whole lot of our new speakers are launching for the first time, and it's very exciting to see them.
It's always to a really positive feedback that I've seen, and for myself as well, and for other speakers that I haven't personally been engaged with, but I've watched them talk, and it's been really great. It's always nice to get new voices.
Yeah, I think so. And what I found is that generally they've been really impressive.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I think that the people that we attract to Speakeasy are often people who have a great story to tell.
And it takes a bit of courage to step up and be willing to ask for that help. So I think the people that do join have that go get it attitude. It's not about the experience in speaking. It's about the confidence to try something new and get some feedback and keep improving. So
as somebody who's been an aspiring speaker and now a speaker, and as a mentor, what would you say about the kinds of people we're looking for as mentors? Like, what kinds of skills and experience are we looking for?
As a mentor, I think the biggest thing is just being present. It's being available and knowing that sometimes people don't always know when to ask for help. So kind of building up your own rapport of what questions to probe with and ask for. And I think that's something, without jumping too far ahead, that would be great about volunteering with Speakeasy, is creating more resources for new mentors on those kinds of questions to ask in support systems. But yeah, beyond being present, it's about listening and exposing the mentee's voice. So there's always going to be ways of rewriting sentences or rephrasing things, but it's about uncovering and unleashing the ideas that they have, and rather than polishing or reworking them into your own way. It's got to be their style that shines through, for sure.
You mean we don't want 6 little Abby Bangsers out there doing jobs?
Oh, that would be scary. That would be scary.
We want to help people find their own voice.
Absolutely.
And that's a skill. It's not always easy. I know that also from being an editor sometimes.
Yes.
That when you're editing somebody's piece of work, you're not writing it back in your own voice. You're trying to bring out the person's unique voice. And
absolutely, yep.
It's a sort of guiding hand, but it's a light touch that's needed. Yep. Yeah. So one of the things that I've observed about our aspiring speakers, and I've had feedback from conferences, is that they're still having difficulty, though, with writing proposals. So one of the things that I would like to encourage in any new mentors who sign up is people who would like to help specifically with writing proposals.
Absolutely. And just even the words you choose and the way you shape your topic. A great idea still needs a bit of shaping before it becomes viable as a conference talk. So
right. Well, and not only that, of course, but a conference proposal is a sales tool. So you're making a sale both to the conference organizers, who will hopefully accept your talk, but also, once you get past that point, to the people you want to attract to the talk.
Absolutely.
So that is something that we really are looking for to supplement our group of mentors, is people who might only be interested, in fact, with helping people with writing proposals. But of course, we're also looking for people who are willing to mentor new speakers. And we have a great group right now, but they're always busy. And we're always happy to attract new people. At the end of this talk, we're going to attach some slides that have links for how you can sign up with Speakeasy as an aspiring speaker, and then how you can also sign up as a mentor. So going beyond that then, what about volunteering? Because we do have other opportunities for people to volunteer. And one of the ways Abby got involved beyond mentoring as a volunteer was because Anne-Marie and I were finding the administrative burden really overwhelming with Speakeasy, because we match up people with, we match up aspiring speakers with mentors. We need to make sure that the mentors are still available. We need to make sure that the aspiring speakers are willing to go ahead, all of those things. And there's quite a lot of manual work involved in that, and it can take a great deal of time. So we sent out a plea for volunteers, and Abby and some other people stepped up, and that's great, and they're really helping us. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing there, Abby?
Yeah, as you said, it was looking to help, and I think at the beginning it really was about stopgap to a certain extent, just giving more hands into the mission of making matches, getting in touch with people, and taking care of the administration. But didn't take long, given all the help that we had, and quickly we realized that we could keep going this way, but there will always be busy times, and there will always be people who go in waves on how much they can volunteer their time to support an influx of new speakers or new mentors. So what we started talking about recently is how to create a more automated fashion for some of the administration, so the time and energy that our mentors are that our volunteers are putting in is around things like how to support a mentor, or how to get more conferences on board with supporting new speakers, and activities like that, which are really going to impact the influence of new speakers and Speakeasy as an organization, more so than worrying only about administration.
Right. So you're currently working on an automating process for matching.
Yep. So we're looking at how to allow people to take that process into their own hands a bit more, clearly needing to work through some of the challenges of privacy and support there as well. But how can we allow mentors and mentees to connect as easily as possible, and basically let the organization of Speakeasy get out of the way and let that happen. So
right. So maybe we should talk a little bit about the other things that we're looking for then, once we get beyond that sort of administrative burden. Some of the ideas we have for taking Speakeasy forward, and how we're looking for volunteers to help there. I mean, one thing you mentioned is creating more supports for mentors. And I think that's a really important thing to do. Well, tell me what you're looking for.
Well, honestly, this comes from a personal standpoint as well, in that I was a new mentor, and thankfully, I feel like I have a support system I can reach out to, not only within the structure of Speakeasy, but personally for that help. But it did feel very one-off support, and I think that's not going to be sustainable as we want to increase our influence and number of mentors. So things like what questions to ask to try and draw out ideas from people. What are some activities that we can run when someone's still in an idea generation stage versus when someone's in a proposal refinement stage, versus when they're preparing their slide deck. So similar to a toolbox we might have at work with different activities for retrospectives or other things, I could imagine something similar for mentors, depending on what stage their mentee is in. And so that's one thing.
Right. Okay. We should say, by the way, because you were talking about being present, that we're talking about virtual presence.
Oh, absolutely, yes. It's often asynchronous. So when I say present, it's about being responsive. And I, more times than probably I should, I do the quick reply of, I'll see you next, this weekend. Busy today, but I'll be back to you soon. And it's just about letting them know that I am there for them, even though I have my own ups and downs of busyness with work. And we'll always find time eventually, and being open about that.
Right. Okay. So that's one thing, is a bunch of supports for mentors. I think we're also looking for some guidelines for aspiring speakers. For instance, some guidelines on writing a proposal would be really helpful. We're also looking for more conferences to join us, and for people who are going out and speaking at conferences to remind the organizers to partner with Speakeasy, get in touch with us and sign up with us. Because that's a really important piece of the puzzle. Is we can have aspiring speakers all ready to go, but unless we've got a conference slot set aside for them, it's really hard for us to help them launch. So the more conferences we get to sign up with us, the better. Okay, so I think we've pretty much covered. Was there anything you'd like to add about Speakeasy or about opportunities with Speakeasy?
I guess the only thing is that there's a lot of opportunities, and it's a bit, because it is so self-driven, there's a bit of an opportunity for you to make your own space. So if you haven't heard something that you're extremely passionate about in this chat, but you think that it would be supportive of the mission of supporting new voices in speaking at conferences around the globe, then I would say just get in touch and let's figure out how to work together, because there is more things that we can do than we've listed for sure.
Okay. So at the end of this talk, there'll be some slides with links. And also, Marie Sherrod is going to be at Agile Testing Days this year. And she'll be available for people to talk to. And we'll be happy to share any information about Speakeasy or to help people get involved. So, and particularly, please, any aspiring speakers, come talk to Anne-Marie. And if you're not at Agile Testing Days, feel free to get in touch with me, and my contact details will also be on the slide. So I think that's about it. And welcome to Speakeasy. Okay.
Thank you. This was very great, and I hope that a lot of new voices are going to sign up with Speakeasy and find the courage to speak at conferences. We had also some new voices last year, for example, Ash Coleman, and she's now a keynote speaker at our conference this year. So it's great. It's great that we have such organizations like yours who encourage young voices and new voices to speak at conferences. So our time is up, and thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you and to share your insights of Speakeasy. And I hope to see you someday at the conferences too.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about it.
Thank you both.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.